you.
Alright, welcome back, guys. We're doing something a little different today. I'm gonna flex my nerd muscles today. We're gonna do some upgrades to my desktop. I use my laptop for a lot of editing, but I use my desktop to edit the videos. I use Davinci Resolve, which is super intensive on the GPU, and this system cannot handle it. It crashes. It takes me an incredible amount of time to edit videos because it crashes and I have to keep restarting. So this is my base. We're gonna do some benchmarks as I upgrade each part. So I'm doing two things at the same time. I'm upgrading RAM and the GPU. So I'm gonna benchmark the whole computer with each upgrade, and then I'm gonna do just GPU benchmarks to show the difference. So this is what I have now. The Intel i7, the 4790K, running at 4 gigs. This is, I believe it's an 1151 socket, and this was the most powerful CPU I could fit on this board. I have an XPS 8700, and this was the biggest CPU that would fit on here. I updated the BIOS already. Here it is, A03. I just did that. Let's see what else we got here. We got 12 gigs of RAM currently. That's gonna go up. And then when we go to display, you'll see right here, currently I have the Nvidia GT720, not even a GTX. It has 1 gig of RAM. And what we are going to be replacing it with is a GTX 980. This has 4 gigs of RAM, but this is also running DDR5, where the GT720 is running DDR3. And I'm also going to be throwing in RAM. I got 2 of these. So these are 8 gigs each. So we're going from 12 gigs to 32 gigs. And hopefully the combination of these two, I can run Resolve without it crashing. So I did a benchmark yesterday, and this is what I got for the whole CPU as a whole. For gaming, it says at 8%, desktop 75%, workstation 8%. This is userbenchmark.com, and this is what it gets. 57 percentile. Graphics card 6.1, terrible, which is what I expect. You know, it's a very basic graphics card. I have 2 hard drives in here. Neither one is a SATA drive. I'm sorry, neither one is an SSD. They are both SATA drives, but neither one is an SSD. And here's the memory that's in here now, 12 gigs. And even this setup's not great. It's 12 gigs, but there's 2 4 gig sticks and 2 2 gig sticks. And now we're gonna run 4 8 gig sticks. Where is? I think I closed out that Heaven benchmark. So what I'm gonna do is run it again so that we can get some a baseline for that, to compare it to the 980. You know, we get a direct comparison of the two. So let me run this, and then let's go back. See right there, it's showing the card GT720, 967 megahertz clock speed, 1 gig of RAM, 48 degrees. Right now, that's what I'm getting. 17 frames a second. This is also free software, Heaven Benchmark. A lot of the videos I watched, this is what they were using. So yesterday I think it was like 454 or something. So we'll see what it is today. All right, so the test just ended. 18 frames per second. Score of 453. Oof. Yesterday, Xavier did it on his, and I think he scores like 3,500 or something. And he's got a 1660 Super, brand new. We just got that system. So again, this is not for gaming, strictly for video editing, which is, you know, it's almost as intensive, maybe more. You know, I'm not really sure, but we'll see. So I'm gonna swap out the graphics card and see if we get a better number. Hoping this would be simple. Just route the wires through the back. Use the old wires to snake the new ones through, but as you can see, my stellar cable management just created a little hiccup. And also, I have this built-in right next to my desk, and the wires are going back there, and then underneath here is a surge protector, so I had to route the power for the monitor through there, because I have to switch my monitor to the new card. Only has DVI, HDMI, or DisplayPort. My old one had a VGA. It was a VGA monitor. And I'm switching the monitor out to that one. I know my room's a complete disaster right now, so, but I had to route everything through here and then run the new DVI plug through there. So here's the new power. So new power, new DVI plug, so that we can see the picture. And now I have to shove my desk back. Fun. All right, I got the case open. Everything's disconnected. Make sure I'm grounded, because, you know, this is carpet. We don't want some static shock to create an issue here. I just have to grab a quick screwdriver right here, so I can take off this plate in the back that holds the GPU in. That's one screw. And then down in here, and you can't see, but you have to pull this tab, pop the card right out. This is currently what's in there. Kind of a joke when you compare it to what's going in. You know, let's see, I can't see. This has 1 gig, this has 4 gigs. So hopefully this is one of those situations where size does matter. Let's hope, right? Here's the dual 6 pins. I pulled those out ahead of time. And this SATA cable. Oh, that's for the optical drive, so I could probably just disconnect that right now. I'm gonna disconnect the drive one too. I don't want to stress out that plug. This dual 6 pins getting in the one. Let's go there. Oh, I gotta take that cover off too, because this is double wide. So open up that other slot. Let's carefully. Hitting the motherboard. Okay, that just snapped in. Let's make sure these little covers over here. Hopefully my big head's not in the way. Okay, those are correct. Looks like it's seated all the way. Ooh, optical drive is not going to reach. So maybe if I go underneath, we'll I'm gonna turn this so I can see a little better. Alright, so I gotta pull it back out because it's in the fucking way. This is usually where I like gorilla shit because it's pissing me off. So let's slide this stupid IO shield back in. Actually, that's not what it is. I don't remember the name of it. Okay. Let's plug this SATA back in. So now can I tuck these? They're gonna have to go underneath. And then down here, I doubt you can see it, but there's a small white plug right there. It's right there, that white plug. That's an SATA, which I might pick up a drive. It's for it's SSD, but it's on the board. It's before the new M2 NVMe things, you know. What am I hitting? This stupid metal thing here. It's like, it's fucking catching on everything, bro. Like, no other place for that SATA. Push this plug. Let this wire
wires to go this way. There we go. Now, oh shit, I should have did this first. You're killing me, bro. Pull out the RAM while I'm here. These little things are so close, the card blocks them. So this is a 2 gig. Here's a 4. This should be a 2 and a 4. And we're gonna swap these out with some 8s, Neo Forzas. These are 8s. We'll slide these babies right in here. There's one.
Daddy, is somebody new?
That's 3. And 4. Now let's snap this card back in. Let's slide these useless covers back on. Slide your whole little pads. The hell? Come on. Why isn't this going in? Yo, these little covers are a pain in the ass. Okay. Okay, now it's all lined up. What a pain that is. Okay. Now the other card used power from the board, but this one right here needs these 2 6-pin connectors. So let's put one there and the other one there. 7 and 8. Make sure everything's seated properly. Everything is plugged in except for this SATA drive. But the plug reaches down here, so I can actually just drop it down. Drop it down a slot. I mean, you don't really use that anymore. I'll probably leave it unplugged for now. And then if I need it, I'll move it. I guess that's why the new boards have the SATAs up in this area versus where they are down there. Again, it's just a basic computer. I just needed to edit on Davinci. I like Davinci, you know, it works good. Just this PC can't handle it. So let's plug this DVI plug back in back here. Where's my power plug? Over there. Leave the cover off for now. And let's turn this on. I also had to change the monitor out. That's not a good sound. What do we got? Alright, so everything's running smoothly now. I was getting a 4 beep motherboard code, which was telling me timer, so I looked it up. And it said start with the RAM. So, where is my flashlight? As you can see, there are only 2 sticks in there now. For some reason, it wouldn't run with the 4. But everything I looked up said that this board can handle 32 gigs. But right now, there's only 16 in there. Maybe it wasn't seated properly. I'm not sure. I'll troubleshoot that later. But just for now, everything's running. And we're looking good. So I'm going to come back up to... Where's heaven? We'll try that again. I think we had a... what was it, like 454? Or something last time. These settings I'm going to leave the same. We'll see if we can get a better number. I had to change the monitor, obviously. The other one I think was a 13. This is a 19. I don't really like it because of the base. This base is so big, I have to put my center speaker to the side, so you know what that means. I'll have to fire up the printers and print something. I need to move it up. That's why the other one, I don't know if you noticed, it had those zip ties. I had it zip tied so that I could have more real estate on my desk, because this is, you know, usually I'll flip this up if I'm tinkering with something here. So, what just happened with this? Come on, let's run. I mean, 16 gigs of RAM is definitely better than 12, but I would love to get more in. If I could get the full 32, that'd be great. We'll see. Benchmarking. Already you can see huge difference. Wow. 180 frames. That's a 10 times difference. I was getting 18 frames before. Now I'm getting 180. Up here I'm getting a higher number. 240. So I'll let this run, and then we'll see what number we get. 454, I believe, at 18 frames is what we're hoping to improve over. Okay, I'm pretty impressed with this. That's a big upgrade. It went from, I believe it was 454, 18 frames a second. Now it's 5115 is the score.
203 frames a second. So that is a definite, significant upgrade. And I think, where's my mouse? I'm not sure if this was right. Let's try something. Resolution. Resolution was off a little bit. Let's I don't see it. 1920. 1080. I wonder if that had something to do with it. So, just to make sure, because I think the frame rate was off. So, yes, definitely, because it's running lower. I was at 230 before, now it's only about 170. So, we'll run it again. These settings were incorrect, so they were both running at 1080. And let's see what we got. All right, there we go. I switched it to 1080, but for some reason right here, this switched. So I'm not sure why it did that. But this is what we got. 201 frames, 5,063 versus, 454 and 18 frames. And even right now, you can see it's 175. One thing that's interesting, this says it's 3.5 gigs. This is supposed to be a 4 gig card. I know with the 970 there was that whole thing where only 3.5 was fast and the other 500 was a slower speed. But I didn't think the 980 was the same thing. That's why I bought the 980 over the 970. I know people are gonna ask, 970. 970 seemed to be the standard that a lot of people were upgrading these XPS 8700s to. But I got the 980 because I thought maybe that issue was corrected, that slower speed, because here it says 4 gigs. But up here it's saying only 3.5. I got the 980 because it was selling at the same price as the 970 on eBay. So we'll see. Right now it's only letting me do the 16 gigs. So what I'm going to try to do is the other benchmark of the whole PC. So let's minimize that. Where is... I think that runs in the browser. Let me just double check. Yeah, so let's go to all right, so it's got to be in my recents. Downloads. Yes, sir. Let's run it. This is going to run everything. The one you just saw, the Heaven benchmark, that only does the video card. This is going to run everything. Last year I upgraded the CPU. There was an i5 in here. The i7 4790K was the most powerful I could fit on the board, so that's what I went for. A lot of people use the 4790. I went with the K. It's 4 cores, 8 threads versus, I don't remember what was in here. It was an i5. It's running at 4 gigahertz. It's not overclocked. Again, this is not a gaming PC. I just wanted to be able to run Davinci Resolve better. You can hear the fans going up. I must be testing the graphics card now. I'm gonna have to change this case because this is a micro ATX board and it's a micro case, so there's not a lot of airflow. So I'm gonna have to go with a bigger case. Let's see if it runs Davinci first. If it runs Davinci first, then I will upgrade the case, because obviously the case I can reuse. So, and the case is probably the cheapest thing to upgrade. I'm gonna fix the wire situation. Where's my flashlight? That orange one that's there wouldn't reach up here to the optical drive, but the red one did, so I just swapped them out. It's only a power cable. I mean, it's a data cable, but it's, you know, they're all SATA, so it's fine. So just swapped them. You know, the orange one reached here, the red one reached up there. I'm gonna try to do the other 2 sticks of RAM, and then maybe I'll shove that orange underneath the board so it's not sticking out like that. You know, just to clear up this area. I can probably squeeze a fan under there somewhere, but then it's not really gonna go anywhere. So I'm not sure. Not a lot of airflow. It's a very tight case. Alright, so this is still running. Let me pause this and I'll get back when we have some results. Alright, so here's the other benchmark. I got all four sticks of the RAM to go in. So right here you can see it's 28 of the 32. I did go back and check the first video, the 1280 by 1024. That's the max that both monitors could do. So those benchmarks, the Heaven benchmarks, you know, they're accurate because they were both at the same resolution. So I believe before I had an 8 in gaming. Now it's 52. Desktop I had 75. It's 86. Workstation I believe was also an 8, and now it's 43. So I think that's a win-win. And over here, the only thing that has in red is boot drive. So obviously, if I get that SATA or SSD, this thing's really gonna fly. So 56 percentile. I think that was about the same, right? Oh, here we go. Graphics card. Before it was terrible. Now it's good. It's 60.8. Drives they're also okay. That Seagate, I think it's a 7200 RPM. That's why it's getting this 90. And this Toshiba is a 5400. That's why it's getting the lower score. Memory. Right, 4 slots, 32 gigs, DDR3. Again, that was the max that the board could hold. Before I was getting the BIOS beeping. I think one of the RAMs just weren't seated properly. Shut it off, reseated them, and we're rocking and rolling. So all this really needs is that SSD. I want to get the one that sits on the board, like the new M2 NVMe's. This has an SATA slot, and I've seen a couple of 500 gigs that weren't too expensive. But I want to put it down there again so it takes up less space. It's on the board. It's a little faster. 512 should be enough to run OS and, you know, the 2 editing softwares. I run Davinci Resolve, and I also run Lightroom on here. I use Lightroom more on my laptop so that I could sit inside and edit, but it is on here. I also run Cura for my printers, but that's not really intensive.
That's Davinci Resolve. And then I open GeForce so I could see I have my latest drivers. See it here. The latest drivers are here. Showing the resolution too. They were both at the same. And that's it. I would say that's successful. Those are two big jumps in gaming and workstation from 8 to 52 and 8 to 43. So I'm pretty happy with that. And that 5,000 score in the heaven benchmarking. Now I just have to run Davinci and see if it'll let me edit without crashing. Again, I think an SSD would help as well. Faster transfer rates going back and forth. So, all right. I'm gonna edit a little bit, see what happens, and get back to you. All right, here's a quick update on the computer upgrade. Here's the old tower. I took it out of there. I bought a larger case so we could get more airflow in. You can see this one has two huge, I think those are 120 or 140 millimeter fans. Actually, I have a 120 right here. Yeah, so those are 140s. Here's the 120. Those are definitely bigger. So it's got two 140s in the front and a 120 right here in the back. I bought two more. Here's one. There's another one there. I'm going to put them up here on the top to pull the hot air out through the top. So these will be blowing in. This will be sucking out the rear. And then the two on the top are going to be sucking out the top. Problem is, because of the size of this case, the wires don't reach. Like, here's the 24-pin ATX. It just reaches. I don't know if you can see the power supply right here, but I can't pull it all the way back. It's got about that much room to get to the back of the case where it's supposed to be screwed in. So that's not going to work. And then this is the 4-pin ATX for the CPU that goes all the way up here. Doesn't reach. So I went to Micro Center. To get cable extenders. But for the price of them, because I need this 24-pin, I need the 4-pin, which is hard to get. All the newer stuff doesn't use that 4-pin. It's a 4+4, 8-pin. And then these two 6-pins for the GPU. You know, the GPU with the 24-pin was like $30-something, and then it was a couple extra bucks for this one. By the time I added everything up, it just made more sense to get a new power supply. But again, I need a special one because I need this special, I don't know if you can see it, that ATX 4-pin. The newer ones, it's an 8-pin. So this was the only one that they had in stock. You know, everybody's building now, so this stuff is hard to get. So I picked up that and a Samsung. Let me cover the price there. Samsung SSD, 1 terabyte. So I already have a 1 terabyte. That's my boot drive, and a 2 terabyte that I move videos and pictures over to. So when this is done, this will have 4 terabytes of storage. I'm gonna make that 1 terabyte SSD my boot drive, sort of boot faster. Hopefully that plus the RAM plus the GPU will help run Davinci Resolve. You know, I'm trying to keep this old girl running right now. I mean, this is gonna put it on par with like some of the current systems, like Xavier system. He ran a benchmark and got 5,700 on his GPU. I got 5,000, and that's not running an SSD. So that's where I'm at now. I gotta pull that power supply out and then swap everything over. I mean, it worked last night. I turned it on last night and it worked. So we'll just reroute everything and we'll see how that goes. All right. All right, the tower's finally all put together. I have to admit, this kind of took on a life of its own. So when I put everything in the tower, the new cases, you know, I don't really how new they are because I haven't built one of these in a while, but the old power supplies, you know, went up here on the top. So as you can see, the wires are pretty short. But now these new cases, let me open this up. They call that the basement. So let me get a little bit of some light over here. So now, with the power supply being down here, if I put this here, you know, these wires don't, well, this one does, that's with a video card. But the 24 pin doesn't reach. And this one, the 4 pin, only goes to there. The plug is all the way up here. I'll show you on the other side. I mean, I love the case. You know, it's easy to get into everything. So if changing the case, obviously I had to get a different power supply, which has the longer cables. This one is actually much better. It's more power, 500 watts versus this one, which had 460. Where is it? I don't know if you can see it. You probably can't. Down there in the bottom, it says 460. This isn't gonna focus. 460 total. That one's 500, and that one's actually rated 80 plus. That's this one here, this Thermaltake, 500 watt. And the reason I also had to get this was because of the 4 pin. This is a 4+4, but the way it separates, I have 4 in a square and 4 in a square. The other 4+4s, it was 4 straight in a line, kind of like this in a row, like the SATA plug. So this was the only one Micro Center had that had this older style 4 pin ATX. A lot of them say 4+4 pin, but all the other ones I saw were 4 in a row above a second row of 4. This, it's 4 in a square next to another 4 in a square. And I also picked up a SATA. This wow, this light is bright. This let's turn this down a little. This Samsung EVO SSD. I wanted to go with the NVMe's on a PCI board, because then that would future-proof if I get a newer board that has the NVMe on the board, the M.2s, then I could just put it directly on the board. But this would also future-proof because I could still use this. This would just be a quick swap over. So that's sitting right there. That's sitting right there. I also have another spot there if I want to put another one. And then on this panel, there are 2 more. And then down here, you can see the plugs to my other 2 original hard drives. And there's still a spot down here for a 3rd. So this has a lot of room for expansion. And then these 2 covers just cover the wires. You have these little set screws. They just cover all the wiring, make everything look nice and neat. Then obviously this wiring, when I close this, you won't see it. And then we just close the glass. So now if I turn this way, on this side, we'll open these up. And you can see everything in here. You know, the board fits nicely. There's a lot more room. And again, the way this is set up, it's, you know, to have cleaner wire management, even though I didn't do a great job down there. I did add those two 120 fans up there to pull the air up, because as we all know, heat rises. So these two fans are blowing air across this way. That fan's pulling air out the back, and those two are pulling air out the top. It's sitting underneath the desk, so there's not really a lot of airflow here. So I just wanted to maximize it and have those two pulling air straight up the top, hopefully keeping my important stuff in here cooler. And now down here, so here's the original power supply, and my 24 pin is all the way up here. Let me see if I can hold both of these in one hand. Okay, here's my 24 pin, and then the 4 pin is all the way up here. This is not going to reach all the way up there. And here's my 24 pin. It would plug in, but then I wouldn't be able to secure the power supply. I originally had this sitting up here just to check everything, make sure everything was working, but obviously I can't leave it like that because I don't need it touching something and shorting out my board. And then down here are the extra drive bays. And if you have a big drive, a regular 3.5, you use the side screws. And if you have the little 2.5s, like the SSD, you would use these. So big drive, you use the side holes to secure. And then the 2.5 SSDs has these. So this is a great setup. And then this whole thing can also slide over. You see the gap here? This whole thing can slide over if I need it to move. And then up here too, you can see the 4. Let me get closer. You can see the 4 holes. I can put 2 more 2.5s up here. So I have 1 in the back. I can fit 3 more. Then I can fit 2 here, which is 5. Another one here is 6. And then I already have my other 2 drives. So you could have 8 drives in here. This drive's a 2 terabyte. This is a 1 terabyte. That SSD is a 1 terabyte. So there's a lot of room here. And then this has this little magnetic filter thing on top to catch all the dust. I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. SSDs, you know, pretty fast. Much faster load up times. So let's show you that right now. Turn on the monitor. Alright, let's see how fast this goes on. I mean, that's lightning fast. I can't complain with that one. Where's my mouse? Let's try. I did download a couple of games to try with. Xavier Lighter. Where is? Oh, here we go. User benchmark. Let's run everything. Let's see if we got any improvements. The original numbers. Gaming was 8. Desktop was 75. And the last one, I believe, is Workstation, was also 8. And then when I put all the upgrades in, the RAM and the GPU, I got 52 for gaming, 86 for desktop, 43 for workstation. And since then, I switched obviously the case and the power supply and the SATA drive because that was showing up red in the second benchmark. So I was hoping that would, speed it up. Obviously by that boot sequence just now, you can see it's turning on exponentially faster. I mean, it's just nuts. Notification, check. Okay. And then we'll just see what this gives us. GPU test. Does all the squares. Circle and textures. Looks like another 20 seconds. The only thing I might want to do later on is the board, upgrade the board. Because I saw there are some other boards for this 1150 processor that have M.2 slots. So with M.2 SATA plus what I'm using on as my boot drive, this thing will really fly. All right, so over here gaming, from 52 we went to 53. Desktop, we're at 85. And workstation, we're at 45. So, and not bad. Gaming was 8 and workstation was 8 before all this, so those are huge jumps. I'm just curious what the difference between desktop and workstation. Interesting. Yeah, so now everything is green here. Before, boot drive was red. So, what's down here? 58%. So, I have to check this because here it's saying 81%, 81.5, excellent. But then over here, performing below expectations. 81.5. I will have to check. Maybe it needs to, maybe if I overclock it, I'm not sure. Nothing's overclocked, everything's base settings here. This too. The GPU, it's saying below 62 percentile. Again, it's not overclocked. The SSD, I just put this in. It's saying outstanding. This was my old boot drive. This is a 1 terabyte, also outstanding. This is my backup drive where I'm backing up videos like these that I create, and some of my photos and stuff are here. That's also outstanding. RAM is above average. Memory lane, insane. That's it. This I can't fill out because I don't play games on this. This is just for video editing, which, needs about the same power as a gaming PC. So, I mean, it's definitely worth the upgrades. This thing's way faster. So I'll just have to edit this video and then see if it can run. Where is it? If it can run Davinci Resolve. This is 15. This is what I've been using. I know 17 beta was out not too long ago. I don't know if the full version is out. I didn't go to 16 because 16 was worse on the old system. So I'm going to run this. Yeah, see, I did these last 3 videos on 15. So I'll do this one on 15, and then I have another one that I want to do as well. And maybe I'll upgrade to 16 and see how it runs on 16. Maybe it'll run better. So let's do new project. This is gonna be PC upgrade. Right, and then import media, the first couple of clips. Yeah, see, the first couple of clips I have here. So let's do Control A. Let's change it, and then playback project cache. We want to use user. Where was the other one? There was another one. Oh, I think it was down here. So timeline resolution. Yes, make sure all this is correct. 10-bit HQX. This is what makes it slower, so we're going to go to SQ. So that when it renders, it's a little lower. Change that to 1 second. Let's save it. I also have to import the intro, which is HRS in here. Intros. I think that's the one I usually use. Let's import the end screen. Turn my sound on. Yes, okay, so I'll do a separate video on that. So I'm gonna add this video obviously to the queue because I need it, and then we'll see how this runs. I know this was a little bit of a nerdy video, not what we usually do, but hopefully this will help me edit easier and get more videos out. So if you liked it, give us a thumbs up, you know, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Hopefully this year we'll be putting out a lot more stuff, and share it. Hope everybody had a happy new year, happy and healthy holiday. Wish you guys all the best in the new year. Hopefully there's more coming from us soon. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.